welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Shravani and today I'm going to be answering all of your questions, wedding edition. So as you can see, I am here in this new house here in Dubai. We finally sort of settled in and I'm going to do a home tour for you all really soon. I just have to put up a little bit of artwork. I don't know when that's going to happen, but I'm super excited to show you this place because it's just come together so beautifully. Anyway, if you follow me on Instagram, you already know that I've been doing a lot of content in the wedding category and it's been received so well by you guys. I'm so grateful for the support. So thank you so much. And if you aren't following me on Instagram, I'm going to put it right over here. I'm doing a small wedding series for a while now because when I was a bride to be, I remember feeling so lost and just not knowing where to go for a bunch of different things. So I'm just trying to help my girls out. So if you're a 2024 bride, I highly recommend following me right over here. Other than that, I also do a lot of content around fitness and activewear because that is my area of interest. But without any further ado, let's get right into this video. And if you like the video, please be sure to like it, hit that subscribe button and the bell icon next to it. And now let's get right in. Okay, so I have all of the questions over here on my laptop, which is down here. So if I look down, you'll know what I'm looking at. The first question is, since you guys had a love marriage, did the caste angle come up between you guys or the families? Honestly, it didn't because our families have known each other for years at this point. I think over 6-7 years, so there was a lot of understanding. Of course there were cultural differences because he's Punjabi and Maharashtrian, so that was there. I wouldn't say there was too much friction, but like with any other wedding, I think even if I were to marry within the Maharashtrian community, there are still so many differences region to region, So in short, no, not really. I think the parents were really understanding, really supportive. So kudos to them for that. They've been fantastic throughout the whole process. The second question I have is your wedding locations. Okay, so we didn't have like a 3-day event at the same location only because we felt like, some other venues were more suited for particular functions. For example, the Sangeet happened at Athena Banquets in Powai, and this location I'd actually really thought of this years ago when one of my really good friends Tanvi got married and she had her Sangeet here. It was phenomenal. It's like a 10,000 square foot area where you have an inside area and you have like an open terrace where you can have the buffet, and I felt like it was just perfect. Pricing wise also it made sense, like budget ke hisab se I think Athena Banquets was fantastic. It's so worth it, like value for money. If you need more details on this, just DM me or ping me. I'll have like an in-depth conversation with you on this. But that's where the Sangeet happened, where we had our Bollywood theme like IFA award night type Sangeet. It was out of a dream, honestly. And then for Haldi, we wanted to do it separately. So traditionally it's done separately in my community and his community. So I had my Haldi at Vihang's Palm Club in Thane. It's a smallish hall for about 100-150 people, and it was really nice, like intimate, boho themed pink phoolo ki haldi, which was great. Again, pricing wise this was also quite economical. Tarun's haldi was at ITC Grand Central, which is where we got married. So the wedding and his haldi was at ITC, and we had actually seen quite a few different 5-star properties and then finally came to this conclusion, and no regrets whatsoever. I think ITC Grand Central is one of the most beautiful properties in Mumbai. I've seen so many 5-star hotels. I'm telling you, right from when you enter that lobby, there's this beautiful scent that I just cannot get out of my head. It feels really posh and premium, and it just felt amazing. The rooms were fantastic. The chefs were so cooperative and they went out of their way. Like all of my points of contact within ITC have gone above and beyond to give us everything they could. So I'm very thankful to their hospitality because without them this wedding just wouldn't have gone as smoothly as it did. So I 100% recommend all 3 of the wedding venues that I just told you about. If you need more details, please drop me a comment or DM me on Instagram. I'm quite active there. Alright, the next question is, how much do wedding caterers usually charge? Now this can vary quite a lot depending on your caterers, of course, but in our case I think the cheapest per plate cost was 1200 rupees, which and the most expensive was 4,000 rupees. So there is a big range, and if you go to like one of those banquet halls, it's going to be a lot lower than a 5-star hotel. At a 5-star hotel, you could even have a buffet that costs 6,000, 7,000 per person. And keep in mind that a lot of these places do not allow you to get a caterer on your own. It's usually in-house. So that is also something you want to consider. The next question is, where did you buy your Nawari sari from? So I actually posted this video on Instagram on the Nawari sari, and it has gotten I think over 40,000 views at this point. I didn't expect it to get that kind of love as compared to the other outfits because I was like, oh, it's just a Nawari sari, like who's going to be interested? But I love that so many brides to be are are asking me about it. It's actually a Banarasi 10-yard sari, which we draped as a Nawari sari. It's from Aso Parlor in Dadar. And in hindsight, I'll tell you the one thing I would change. Like, I don't really wear saris a lot, so I didn't know this. When you get a sari, you want to make sure that the border is thin, because then it looks better when it's draped. So my border was massive. It didn't look bad, but I think in hindsight I would have, you know, picked like a more delicate border. I got the blouse stitched from Peacock Lace and Fabrics, again Ram Maruti Road in Thane. It was quite pricey. That blouse was, I think, 10,000 rupees, because it had a lot of like handwork and things like that, but stunning. Like, I wouldn't change it for the world, because I can use that blouse, you know, with like a normal sari. And I also did not get the sari stitched. I got it draped just so it can be used in the future. Alright, the next question is, how did you choose your makeup artist? What was your criteria and cost? This was actually very difficult for me. I didn't know what to look for, and I think my criteria was only someone who knew how to do subtle glam makeup without completely changing the way I look. I'm not a big fan of really heavy makeup. I did Bharatnatyam for like 8 years of my life, so I'm super done with, you know, like the heavy makeup and the bold eyes and all of that. And I came across Kajol Paswan's team and I fell in love with them. I just went through, you know, their work. I think a great indicator of how they function is, you know, it's seen on their Instagram. I feel like every brand has an Instagram page now, so go through that. I saw a few brides and I saw a few makeup looks that I liked, and then I felt confident. I said, okay, I want exactly this. They've done this before, so then I'm sure they can do it for me. So when it comes to costing, I don't think I can give you like a number, because in this industry there's going to be a lot of negotiation that is possible, a lot of to and fro. Some makeup artists will have a little bit more room than others. So let's just say that I ended up getting a good package, because we did like my 4 of my looks plus my mother-in-law and also my mom, like all 3 of us booked the same makeup team, and that's why we were able to, you know, pull some strings on our end and then like get that cost down. But it can vary a lot. I'm telling you, like, you could get a makeup artist who charges 20,000 per look for a bridal look, and you'll also find one that charges 1.5 lakhs. So if you hear such a big number, just don't be super discouraged. You know, just maybe talk to them a little, see whether, you know, they have some room to make some adjustments for you, and basically pursue what you really want. If it doesn't work out, then of course you can look for other options. But I'm so glad that, you know, this team, this whole thing worked out with the team, because they did a fabulous job for all of my looks. All of my hairstyles were very different from what I usually do. This is what I usually do. I'm very boring. So, you know, I love that they pushed me out of my comfort zone, made me experiment with both my makeup looks and my hair without making me feel like, you know, I wasn't myself. The next question is pre-bridal skincare. Now I'm gonna just cut to the chase. I did none of those facials. I did nothing that everyone recommends you should do. So I don't know if it's worth it. I've had some brides say that it is, some brides say that it was a waste of money. I personally, see, I have very acne prone skin and I'm very scared to let anyone touch it. Even if it's like a basic facial cleanup, नहीं जाती हूँ मैं, पहले से नहीं जाती हूँ. So I didn't feel the need to go out there and do it. Plus it's an added expense, you know, hydro facials and this and that. बहुत महंगा होता है ये सब. वैसे भी शादी में इतना खर्चा होता है. So I didn't do any of that. I in fact had a few breakouts during my wedding, but before that my skin was quite clean. I believe it was the stress that, you know, built up and then eventually emerged on my face. But before that I was just washing my face, like basic hygiene कर रही थी मैं, 2 बार नहा रही थी. I was washing my face, washing my hands, making sure they were clean, and I was using a Pond's का face wash and my Formula RX moisturizer. That's it. And Foxtail का daily hydrating serum, वो खत्म हो जाता था तो मैं सिर्फ मॉइस्चराइजर लगाती थी. So I did nothing different. So I don't think I'm the right person to ask about pre-bridal skincare. I'm sure there are dermats and other people who are in a better position. But to answer your question, I didn't really do anything. Alright, the next question is shopping budget. Okay, so when I started looking for my outfits, I told you that I had gone to like these designer stores, and then I saw that एक outfit यार 3-4-5 लाख का है. And I quickly got over that and I gave myself a challenge. I had to buy my Sangeet, reception and Haldi outfit, okay? Because the main wedding outfit comes from your in-laws. So I gave myself this challenge कि मुझे 1 लाख के अंदर ये तीनों outfits बिठाने हैं. Oh, and also my Nawari sari. So 4 outfits. I didn't know how that was possible, because everywhere I went, I was seeing bridal outfits for like a minimum of 1 lakh. And I just didn't find it worth it? And also I didn't have that much money. It just wasn't fair to ask my parents to spend that much. So this was a challenge I gave myself. So when I went to Kalki and I saw my Sangeet outfit, my reception outfit, I tried both of those on the same day and I was sold. I said one is 36,000, one is 46,000. ठीक है, budget में है. This takes my total to about 80k. I love it. Let's just get it. So ये मेरा हो गया था. I had 20k more to work with, and then I got my. Then when it came to the haldi outfit, I was like, चल 20k का budget है, क्या करूँ? And I still wasn't able to find anything below 30. Then I said, okay, 1 lakh का target है. In my head I was like, 1 का 1.5 हो गया, चलेगा. उसका 2 नहीं होना चाहिए. So then at that point I came across Papa Don't Preach, saw this Bayberry outfit, and I said, you know what, I love it. It was for around 42,000. So of course it was a little bit of a hole in my pocket at that point. I said, you know what, I'll buy this. And then that took the budget to about 1.26. Now I was 26k over my budget, but still way under what I had initially thought. मुझे लगा था 5-6 लाख जाएंगे मेरे outfits में, क्योंकि that's what a few of my friends had also spent on their outfits. So I'm at 1.26 and I've already bought 3 of my outfits. I have just 1 left. Nawari saris honestly are not very expensive. So I got the Nawari sari plus the Shela for I think 8,000. And then of course the blouse was an additional 10,000, so 18,000 there, which took my total to 1.44. I'm still very, very proud of that. I think maybe I could have cut it down even more, but in hindsight I loved all the outfits. I didn't feel like I was compromising anywhere, and I still think that was a decent amount of money to spend on my outfits, which are also super reusable, and I'm thinking of wearing a few of them at one of my cousin's weddings later this year. Alright, the next question, I'm just going to club a couple of questions here. Costs to be factored in when budgeting that are easy to miss earlier on. Cost cutting and effective planning. Okay, if you want to plan effectively, you need to treat this like a project. Okay, I had timelines, I had an Excel sheet, I had also downloaded the Wed Me Good app, which gives you a checklist of things that you need to do, and it's helpful because it also gives you timelines. So when you have all of that structured in front of you, it's much easier. So highly recommend that. Cost to be factored in when budgeting that are easy to miss out. I think it's the little things. It's like, okay, शादी के दिन पे फूलों की चादर. Okay, I hadn't really discussed that or thought of that until I spoke to my decor team later on. But this is just me. I just forgot. But there could be a ton of other things. अभी साफा बंदी के लिए तुम्हें कोई चाहिए तो फिर that's usually charged separately. Band बाजा चाहिए, घोड़ी चाहिए for the dulha. All of that is charged separately. Your mehendi artists, the cost that is going to be incurred for you to get your mehendi done, plus siders जो होते हैं. Maybe your videography team requires you to arrange for transport for them in a specific vehicle because they have specialized equipment. So there are a lot of miscellaneous things which I can't really point out because it differs wedding to wedding. However, what I will say is keep a contingency fund that is, you just keep it. You don't touch it until like the last month, because that's when these expenses start popping up. And in order to really cut down on costs, every time you make a purchase, really think about how much money is going into it. Is it worth it? And can you find an alternative? My family and I have we've done a lot of research, from venues to outfits to jewelry. हर किसी के लिए हम लोग 5-5, 10-10 दुकान में जाके फिर we have finalized what we had to. And yet I feel like we could have possibly saved a little more, but I didn't have a wedding planner, and it's really not easy doing all of that by yourself. So yeah, just be very mindful. कभी भी कुछ भी खरीद रहे हो तो 10 बार सोचो एंड थोड़ा सा रिसर्च करके 1-2 दिन एक्स्ट्रा लेके फिर ही लेना. The next question is expensive traps. I'm going to tell you the most expensive trap is decoration. Decor can cost you anywhere from like 2 lakhs to 10 lakhs, okay, depending on what you want. So when you speak to the decorators on a panel of, let's say, a hotel, usually all of these hotels and venues will have their own panel of decorators. Some might only have one, so you have no option but to work with them. Some might have 5 or 6 like ITC did, and then you can talk to those 5-6 decor teams and then figure out who sort of matches your vision and fits into the budget. So I have realized that for the same thing, we've gotten quotations that are miles apart. Like जो चीज़ 3 लाख में हो सकती है, वही दूसरा पैनल हमें 6 लाख में बोल रहा है. So that is a very expensive trap, and then you really need to be okay to cut back on a few things. थोड़ा सा compromise करना पड़ सकता है if you only have one decor team on board and they charge you, let's say 7 लाख का उन्होंने आपको quotation दिया, and then you'd have to cut back. But if you have a few other options, then you can negotiate, or you can go to another person on the panel, and then they might give you a better deal. That's what happened with us, thankfully. That is one of the most expensive traps. Oh, also, I completely forgot to add this. Costs that are easy to miss out on. If you want things like an anchor, which I highly recommend for your Sangeet, we had him for our Haldi also, that is an added cost. If you want choreographers, that is an added cost. If you want background dancers, then you have to pay each one of them, and then you also have to pay for their outfits. You get to choose their outfits. It's a nominal price, but nominal cheeze bhi, dheere dheere they sort of compound and they all add up. And this is where the contingency fund comes in handy. And the last question I have is, what is the most useful tip you can give brides that you didn't know before? I don't know. To all of my brides, I think when you start planning your wedding, try to be as clear as possible about what you really want. I have had Pinterest boards for years, and when I went into the wedding, I was very, very clear about how I wanted the decor to play out, how I wanted, a certain function to go. And because of that, because I was so specific, I was able to articulate my requirements better to all of my vendors, and as a result, I would say the wedding was 95% exactly like I had envisioned it without a wedding planner. So yeah, I think clarity is a big factor, because most of the time the grooms don't really dream about the wedding as much as the brides do. So all my ladies, really, really have all of this thought out. Communicate with your grooms, see what they like, and the more clarity you have, the more beautiful your wedding is going to turn out to be. And also, if things go wrong, it's part of the process. Things are going to go wrong, but there will be ways out of it. 100%. Things will fall into place. So zyada stress mat karo and delegate as much as you can. And with that, I'm going to be closing out today's video. Thank you so much for asking all of these questions. And if you'd like to submit questions in, please be sure to follow me on Instagram, because that's where I do all of my question story stickers. And hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, please take a second and give it a big thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more content like this. And maybe leave me a comment down below as to what you'd like to see next in this wedding series. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!